Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ty and this is Ty the Space. In today's video I'll be talking about why I switched from Google / the Android ecosystem and why I moved into the Apple ecosystem. First of all, this is not a bash on Android user, or it's not an Android versus Apple users kind of thing. It's not about that. This is strictly about loyalty to what works. You guys need to understand something. Your loyalty should be to yourself, not to any of these companies. These companies are loyal to their bottom line. They're all about making their profits for all their shareholders. So you should also be all about what products actually suit your need and meet your need. And for me, for the past 10 years, Android has done just that for me. The only problem is that over the past 1 year, it isn't meeting my need anymore. So I'm moving towards something else that actually does meet my need, which is Apple at this point in time. That is not to say that if Google was to come up with something much better tomorrow, 3 days, or a couple of months from now, I wouldn't switch. I would switch to whoever is going to offer me the best value or the best bang for my buck at that time. There were 3 reasons why I stuck with Android / the Google ecosystem for the past 10 years. First, very customizable, decent price point, as well as they push the envelope in terms of innovation. While that has been fantastic for the past 10 years, I mean, going through school, being a broke student and being a very inquisitive and trying to understand and practice a lot of stuff, that actually sufficed. But now, where productivity and time is very paramount to me, I can't waste my time on trying to figure out things that are, just constantly always breaking, which is what the Google and Android ecosystem has been, giving me over the past 1 year. The straw that actually broke the camel's back was in October of last year when I bought the Pixel 6 Pro. I was actually coming from, having used Samsung, and I decided to flip into the Pixel, or my worst purchase I made last year, because the phone seemed great at first. But eventually, after spending more and more time with it, and I started to use it more and more, I started to discover that there's a lot of issues with the phone, and Google kind of just rushed out and released the half-baked product. The Pixel phone was plagued with so much issues like overheating, camera problems, and so many different things, because this phone was my primary drive. I used it for so many things. I used it for my, my workflow, content creation, recording, pictures, editing, even for work, so many things. It was my main driver, but it was so unreliable that I had to get a secondary phone, which is how I got into the iPhone. Slowly, I started to find myself use the iPhone a whole lot more because of the frequent issues with the Pixel. So I started to move a lot of my workflow into that Apple ecosystem. Eventually, I did buy the HomePod Mini when it came out in September last year as well, and that was an eye-opener for me, because I was able to compare and contrast my experience with with Siri versus using both Google and Amazon Alexa as well, and the difference was just night and day different. Siri was very reliable. She understands my accent well. She wouldn't just go off randomly. In fact, there's one thing with the Google Assistant over the past 1 year, I've actually started to think that there's ghosts. It reminds me of this TV show I'm currently watching. It's called Ghost, where this character called Alberta, she was able to control Alexa with her voice, and she's a ghost, which should not be possible. So the other occupants of the house were wondering how the hell their speaker was actually, going off on its own. That's exactly what's happening with my Google Assistant right now.
Couldn't be bothered to put on a record. They just want to say, Alexa, play jazz.
Here's a station you might like. Ultimate Jazz.
What the? You can hear ghosts? Alexa, who invented popcorn?
Alexa, will there be season 2 of It's Getting Hot in Here?
Alexa, what day of the week is it?
Today is Thursday, April 7th.
I am a god.
Sometimes 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the night, it would just randomly start saying random stuff. The worst of it all was when I was watching TV downstairs and enjoying myself, and then all of a sudden everything shut down. The house, the heater, the TV, everything just went off. I didn't control it. I didn't do nothing. It just turned off everything. So I started to get more and more worse. when I started to slowly use Apple's HomeKit and Siri, I started to realize that wow, this system is actually more reliable. It's better than Google. I mean, although Google Assistant is, gives you a whole lot more options to tinker with stuff, integrate with so many other third-party developers. You can mess around so much, but it comes with that massive issues where it's very unreliable. And at this point, I want to deal with reliability and productivity over technology and innovation. I'd rather stick with something that's older that works reliably than something that's the latest and greatest but doesn't do the job very well, which is basically how Apple and Android are like right now. Apple takes their time to get it all refined and polished, but Google kind of just continue to push the envelope, but they don't. It comes with the price of not working reliably all of the time. I'm gonna make Apple my primary ecosystem right now, and then move Android and Google to the back end. In fact, I've been able to integrate a lot of my third-party devices like my Reolink cameras, my 2-year smart lights, my smart bulbs, smart switches, motion sensor from Samsung, all of these different devices that don't work natively with Apple HomeKit. I've been able to make them work using other thought workarounds, and the workarounds work very reliably, even much more so than Google. Another issue I had with the Google ecosystem was that yeah, they push the envelope on some things, other things not so much. For example, the Google Home app is severely outdated. It lacks features for automation and routines. You can do so much within the app. You can even view a lot of your cameras that are integrated into. You can view it directly from the app, which is something I can do from my HomeKit app. I'm able to view all of my cameras from Bosch. I have Axis cameras, I have Reolink, I have Wisecam, and all of these cameras, they're all integrated into HomeKit. I can't even get most of this into my Google Home. So that's another reason why I'm also pivoting away from that Google ecosystem and moving to Series. Just the fact that the Series HomeKit app is much more feature rich and it integrates nicely into the ecosystem. I actually just got the watch as well, and everything just works so nicely together. Using the watch, the phone, and even the laptop, everything, it creates this beautiful ecosystem. Even if it's expensive, I'd rather stick with that ecosystem. And if it works, I'd rather go with it. I'd rather spend less time dealing with the frustrations and headaches that comes with these other guys. If in the future they come up with Google comes out with something better, I'll still be around to check it out and keep you guys posted on it as well as things start to roll out. Right now, Google is actually working on a newer version of their Google Home app, and there's a beta release right now. I've signed up for the beta program, just waiting for the invitation into the program so I can try it out and run it as well. Because I still have that tinkering and that curiosity in me. I still like to explore the technology. The only thing is that now it's going to be more like in the lab environment. I'll use it on the backside and not as my primary go-to everyday kind of thing. It'll be more like a secondary because it's not reliable. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me on this video. I'm gonna continue to post more and more content on a lot of the smart home stuff. Stay tuned for more of that content, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.